One of the most anticipated sets of the year is finally here. LEGO's Captain Rex's Y-Wing Microfighter is a cheap way to get a long-awaited and long-desired minifigure. Fans have demanded this character for a long time, and after the disappointment of seeing him in the $650 Venator last year, it's awesome that they're putting him in such a affordable and easily obtainable set. So now any fan can have their favorite clone captain. I love that you can pick up this set, and you can also pick up last year's 332nd Battle Pack for $15 from most major retailers, and have this nice little Siege of Mandalore squad for less than 30 bucks. While absolutely no one is buying this set for the build, the Microfighter does look pretty good. It translates the look of the Y-Wing into the smaller, chibi-ish Microfighter styling very well. I would say it's one of the better looking Microfighters, and it will obviously sell extremely well. I personally love this Microfighter. Not only is it a cheap way to get Rex, but it's also a nice, cute, tiny version of a set I've always wanted. And that's where things get a little annoying. This is a nice small version of a set I've always wanted, but the set I've always wanted still doesn't exist. If you've been following the channel for some time, you know my most desired set of all time is that 501st Y-Wing as seen in the last bit of the Clone Wars finale. It's been 4 years since its appearance in the Clone Wars, and 3 years since its minor appearance in the Bad Batch, and we still haven't seen anything. The box art to this set actually calls out to its minor appearance in the Bad Batch, depicting Braca in the background. But I really wanted to see what a system scale take on this Y-Wing could be. And listen, I'm no mock builder myself, so I went ahead and called upon my friend and mock builder Blaze. I gave him the challenge to take the 2009 Y-Wing, which in my opinion holds up extremely well, and modify it, modernize it a bit, and make it look like the 501st Y-Wing we've all always wanted. I gave him some special requests I wanted the set to have, and he went to work. And I think the final result came out really well and employed some very interesting build techniques, and I'm going to hand things over to him to tell you all about it.
It took a little bit of time and tons of adjustments along the way, but now we can finally show you our full-sized Captain Rex's Y-Wing. You see, back in 2009, LEGO released Anakin's Y-Wing Starfighter, which is the only Playscale Clone Wars Y-Wing set to date, but it's also the perfect base for a Captain Rex's Y-Wing mock. So I grabbed that set, rebuilt it in Bricklink Studio, and started tweaking it to fit what we were looking for. I used a ton of reference photos and the episode the Y-Wing is featured in to try and make this as screen accurate as possible while remaining in this scale, and the final result, I'm really happy with. The core identity of the original set remains, but it's been completely rebuilt and upgraded for our favorite captain. The body of the Y-Wing got widened by one stud, but extended in length by a few studs to better fit the Y-Wing's profile. Up at the front of the ship, we've of course got the main cannons as well as our pilot seat, where Captain Rex can fit comfortably with his control panel in front of him. But the gunner seat is a little more precarious. The official Season 7 Ahsoka minifig can't fit in the gunner seat at all because her Leku mold is just way too big. And I don't have an original Clone Wars Ahsoka minifig to try, but I do have this custom Ahsoka which uses the official headpiece. And in order to comfortably fit her in the gunner seat, you do have to remove one 1x2 plate on either side to lower this panel. The original Y-Wing didn't have this issue because they just chose to leave a gap on this, but I wanted our model to look good on display, so you can just remove 2 parts when you put Ahsoka in. But there is a smidge of detail inside with a small control panel so Ahsoka can actually control the cannons, which have a small bit of vertical posability. Now behind the gunner seat is the area I'm arguably most proud of. Rex and I both wanted R2-D2 to be sitting in the accurate position sideways rather than long ways like in the original set, and I wanted to take it a step further and make it look even more accurate by filling in the empty space around him. But by doing that, you can't take your astromech out or put him back in unless he goes in from the bottom. So that's what we made him do. You can place R2-D2 on this little platform, and using this bar and clip on the underside of the ship, you can slot R2 into the perfect position. And while we're down here, another feature we really wanted to incorporate was fully retractable landing gear. One at the front that folds away nicely underneath this flap connected to R2, with 2 more near the engines in the rear which tuck up against the hull. Then they're all locked in place when landed just by pushing up against the bricks in front of them. But the foot in the front is on an axle, so make sure it's level before setting it down. Back up top between these 2 intakes behind R2, we have a little bit of weapon storage disguised into the hull. It can't fit lightsabers with the blade attached, but it can fit Rex's pistols or rifles easily enough. Then right underneath that, we have a little bit of greebling to make the backside of the ship look good, where we can then follow this white outline on these slopes to the engines. And most LEGO Y-Wings have very skeletal engines, so they're incredibly light and don't succumb to sagging, whereas the Clone Wars variant is much more full and thus brick built, so the engines do suffer from a little bit of sag. It's the reason I use these 1x2 plates on top. I was hoping they would stop the engines from sagging a little by stopping these bars on the engines from sagging any further, but it honestly probably doesn't do that much. Beyond that, the engines are very smooth and tiled up, with only one stud showing on the thruster. The design of this bomber in universe is so clean, and I think it translated very well onto this build. It sort of shows you how easily LEGO could adapt one of their existing designs into the proper scale. And don't get me wrong, I'm still excited to get my hands on the new Microfighter. It just sucks that it's a Microfighter. But it did give me the opportunity to build this mock. And if you want to build one for yourself, I have full PDF building instructions plus a parts list for easy ordering of pieces available on my Patreon page. This was a super fun build, and I'm really happy I got to be part of the process in making this happen. I can't wait to see what you guys think in the comments.
I'm still very impressed with the work he's done, and if you're interested in checking out any of his other mocks, I highly recommend checking out his YouTube channel. He does things from modifying and combining existing LEGO sets to mocks from the ground up. Let me know what you thought of his Y-Wing down in the comments. And well, that's all I've got. I'll see you guys in the next one.